Hello, Voices of Wrestling listener. Dave Ryan here. Have you ever wondered to yourself how many hidden gems are hidden away inside the last years of World Championship Wrestling? Have you ever asked yourself how many tenuous gags can be made about the name Mike Enos? And have you ever thought about what it sounds like for two Irishmen to interpret a very chaotic company through its B show? The answers to all this and more are just a click away. Check out Days of Thunder every second Thursday on the Voices of Wrestling podcast network.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Monday the 26th of May 2025. This is episode 363, and it's the end of the Premier League season, Damon. I did want to come in and bask in some glory, and I will do that because Arsenal have won the Champions League. It's the Women's Champions League, but it still counts. And it's still a glorious achievement. And if anyone tries to downplay that, then you're cancelled for being sexist, because obviously it's on the same level as the men's achievement. So why are we even having this conversation? But someone just sent me something which is really horrible. Have you seen any of this news coming from the Liverpool trophy parade?
No. Is it?
So, yeah, there was a bit, obviously massive crowds of Liverpool supporters in the streets of Liverpool, and someone's just driven a car into the crowd.
Oh, no, really?
It's horrendous, yeah. I don't know if it's deliberate or, someone's unwell. It doesn't, someone might have become unwell behind the wheel, but that's sort of spoiled it. I wanted to come in and be like, yay, Arsenal! And now I've seen this and I think, fuck, why are people so awful? If it is someone doing this deliberately, but fuck, this is not good.
No, I
shouldn't
God
have
damn
brought
it.
it up.
Well, no, but it's like, I mean, I didn't know, one, and two, which is good because I was going to open the show with my anti-Liverpool rant. But no. See, here's the problem too. It's like this is becoming a more frequent thing at championship parades. We've had a few incidences with parades like that, and it's just I know people want to sit here and say, well, you have a large mass of people like that, something's going to go wrong, and it's like, really? Why? Why does it have to happen like that? And I think people see big crowds and they see the opportunity, I guess, to make a big impact.
I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to sort of try and rationalise
No.
and get in the mind of people to do this. It's really shit because, I'm gutted that Arsenal didn't win the league. And that's all part of it. It's all part of the process of being a fan. Like, you have a bit of banter with your friends who are Liverpool supporters and they're like, you finished second again, you're shit. And you're like, you bastards, you're lucky, da-da-da-da-da. But seeing stuff like this, it's really horrible. Like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It's just really shit things happen. It's upset. It's really quite upsetting.
It is. It's like here's the problem, because for one day you let your guard down. You know, you're with everyone. You supported the team through thick and thin.
And the last time they won it, sorry to interrupt, but it was during the lockdown, so they couldn't really celebrate that one properly. And not like I'm sort of the champion of joy for Liverpool FC supporters, but that was their first Premier League for, I don't know, decades or something. I'm not sure exactly. It would have been about a good 20 years maybe. And that was kind of ruined by being during lockdown. So, you know, it was all matches played behind closed doors and that. And they should have won more Premier League titles, but haven't because of Man City and all their oil money. And then they finally won a Premier League, like fair and square. They've been the best team, really great team, great manager, been better than us, better than City, and obviously post-pandemic, so they all get to celebrate it. And you think, you know, they kind of deserve that. And then this shit happens.
Come on, people. You know, I don't know. You know, and no, you know, I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to bite my tongue because, you know, it wasn't like this was a West Ham fan that was upset that, you know, his team didn't win the championship. That
was my like gut reaction. I was like, is this an Everton fan who's just really annoyed?
No, we know where, we don't know exactly what the cause, but like we know where this is leaning, right? We know where it's leaning. And it's like, can we just, all right.
Just like everyone, this is going to be overshadowed now. Every time Liverpool title win comes up, it's going to be, the nutcase driving a car into a crowd of people. So, yeah.
Well, they should just ban cars, Joel. I mean, that's obviously the answer. We should ban cars. There should be no cars, ever.
Well, fortunately, the Arsenal Champions League parade went without incident.
Did it?
It did, yeah. No, that was today in North London. It was really, really great to see. Like, tremendous achievement from the Arsenal women team. Very much against the odds, playing against the Barcelona side, who like all conquering, and everyone thought they were just going to destroy Arsenal. Now, the funny thing about this is Chelsea have been the dominant force in English women's football over the last few years because they've pumped a huge amount of money into it because they want to be like this dynastic side. And yeah, they've racked up Premier League wins. I think they're unbeaten this season, so they were sort of all crowing about that. But the big one that they wanted was the Champions League. That's the one that everyone wants. That's the biggest prize in the game. And they got to the semi-finals against Barcelona, and they got pumped like 8-2 or something. It was a ridiculous scoreline. So they got absolutely destroyed. So everyone was thinking, well, this is the dominant English Chelsea side, and they've just been destroyed by Barcelona. There's no way Arsenal are going to do it. And Arsenal have had, I wouldn't say a lucky run to the final, but a lot of really good comeback wins against very, very difficult sides like Real Madrid, and I think it was Lyon they played in the semi-final after going behind, losing the first leg of each of those games, so having to come a quite heroic comeback. So everyone was writing Arsenal off, but we ended up grinding out, like really hard work and professional performance, getting a 1-0 win in the final, very much against the odds. So yeah, we've done it. Hooray! Arsenal, champions of Europe, and that's that. We are Champions League winners, and no one can deny that.
That is correct. Very good. Excellent. Can I ask you a question? Would you say that, give me a percentage level of the common person's interest in women's professional soccer in your country?
I would say it has been boosted in recent years by England being really successful. They won the European Championship in 2022, summer of 2022, because I remember I was visiting here and me and Esther watched that in the hotel room in London. That was great. So I think after that happened, there was sort of this grounds wave of uptick and buzz, and Arsenal do like tremendous crowds for their home games, and particularly the Champions League games. So if I had to put a percentage on it, so like a percentage of football fans that are also follow women's football, is that what you're asking?
That or like just like, again, is it going to be front page of the sports section tomorrow morning?
That's a really good question. I don't know is the answer. Was it on the back pages? It should have been on the back pages of the newspapers. I'm going to say yes and very.
Okay.
So
I love it. It's good.
Yeah. That's
but here's the thing.
I can't quantify that. I've not done the research. But,
that's all right. I just wanted to see if you had your finger on the pulse of what the goings on, the nosing around England. I think it's one sport that can translate very well, right? You know what else I really enjoy watching is from Australia.
Oh, sorry, I've looked up stuff here. So our highest home attendance this season was 56,784. That's fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Average home league attendance 28,808. That's really strong, I think.
Yeah, that's a good number. Real good number. Fuck. Yeah, there's not. I'm trying to think of like, is it like, so women's professional soccer, like when it gets into the like, you know, national games, you know, and international games, like Women's World Cup, that got buzz here.
Yeah, Megan Rapinoe, she was a big.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's died down at all. Like, I think it's kind of like the Olympics here in the sense of we care about it in that pocket of time. Like everybody's into it at that moment, but like outside of that, like nobody gives a fuck about curling. You know, nobody.
Yes.
Like, you know, like the decathlon. Nobody gives a fuck. You couldn't name one person who's like, yeah, I follow this guy and he's won the world championship. But like during the Olympics, it happens, and I guess during World Cup, it happens here. But the Australian women's football is they are unbelievable. I can't. I will watch that. And what else do I really enjoy? I was watching the other day. I was watching. It was college women's NCAAs lacrosse, and I swear to God, like we just went out to lunch and it was on the TV, and we're talking. So goalie makes the save, boom, dumps it out to the wing, and she took this thing coast to coast, and it was unbelievable because there was another player right on her shoulder, oh, pretty much the entire length. I would say 3/4 of the length, and then she just hit this fucking another gear, and she just pulled away and roped it top shelf. I was in the bar and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, sure, watch this. Watch it on replay. So that was really good. I look, again, we all know it's economics, money driven, you know, all that stuff. But it is nice to see. Like it is, and especially when there's like people latch onto it and get into it and spend their money and all that stuff. So good. Like I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say it, but because it's the truth. Like the WNBA, oh, what a terrible product. It stinks. Like it is just bad basketball. Just terrible. And they try as hard as they can, but it stinks. But if it's a good product, people will watch it. Oh God, I hate WNBA so much. It's just a terrible league. Terrible league. And they're always complaining, well, we should be paid as no, well, okay, you drew 2,000 people to a 20,000 seat arena. It's a problem here. Your ratings are shit. Why are we talking about this? Who cares? There's probably two people that care about this. I know. Me and you.
Transition to a question from Swipe. It says, what does Arteta need to do to either one, win the EPL, or two, win the Champions League? Honestly, I think if we kept our squad mostly healthy, like if we'd had the same sort of injury record that Liverpool did, I think we'd be champions. I think getting a decent pre-season under our belt and fingers crossed keeping most of the squad, most of the key players healthy, that will do sort of 80% of that. I think obviously we need to bring some reinforcements. I'd like to see at least one new striker and a new left winger, which everyone knows that. Everyone on the planet knows that that's what we need. But I think we do have, the most of a title winning squad there. Just need just a little bit more firepower, a few more options, and some sort of raise the floor of the squad so there's more minutes can be shared around. Because if you're playing the same players for 90 minutes 40, 45, 50 times a season, then they're going to break down at some point. So just keeping the squad healthy, I think, will be the biggest order of the day. So get the transfer business done nice and early, get good pre-season in with everyone, and maybe next year. It's our catchphrase at this point. But it doesn't matter because we won the Champions League, so who cares?
Do you think you guys are in too many tournaments? I know that's a dumb question, a dumb Yankoid imbecile.
So, everyone's playing too much football, and luckily we don't have to take part in this ridiculous summer World Club Cup thing.
Oh yeah,
but it's also the intensity of the games has increased, and like I think if you compared a 2025 game with 20 years ago, 2005 game, I think it's a lot more intense than it was. Like much more like straight from the first whistle, high press, people closing down, hard tackles. I think it's the pace of the game seems to be increased than what it used to be. But yeah, that's what happens with football. Like it makes a lot of money, so there's going to be more and more matches, more and more tournaments. All the tournaments get expanded, more clubs come in, everyone's playing more matches, and then all the players start breaking down and doing their ACLs and MCLs, and people are like, oh, what's going on? But
yeah,
that's not going to stop because it's capitalism, isn't it?
It is. Can I ask you one more question? As the King of England, I have a concerned traveler that has posed a question to me to ask to you. And this was probably meant to be offline, but I'm going to ask it online. Just why not? Can you help explain the growing concerns and the situation when it comes to iPhone theft in London? Please provide some analysis.
I would not walk around waving your iPhone about when you're walking down the streets. There's a lot of opportunistic criminals, especially people on like bicycles, motorcycles, will just snatch it. So,
is it that bad? Has it gotten to a because you know how the news loves to blow things out of fucking proportion and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't live in London, so I don't know. So I'm only sort of going on the same anecdotal evidence that you are, but it does seem to be an issue. And yeah, when you're in London, I would advise that you keep phones and other valuables out of sight. Like I wouldn't be walking. Yeah, I'd always have your guard up and be aware that someone nearby might very well try and snatch out your hand. Maybe
that sounds fun.
Like a little thing to wear around your neck. Mally's just bought one of those, so yeah, it might be worth looking into.
Okay, so what you're saying is don't drive my Lamborghini around and don't what? That sucks. All right. I'll have to let her know. She'll be like, well, how am I going to take pictures? I don't know.
Yeah, you can take the pictures, but I would. Yeah, I'd look at. I'm sure there's sort of devices you can get these days to keep the phone attached to your person.
Yeah, your eyeballs. Just stare at it and memorize it.
And I think even having it like as something as simple as around a cord that's around your neck or your waist or attached to a bag, whatever, might be a deterrent for would-be snatchers because they're going to look at that and think, you know what, that's going to be more trouble than it's worth.
Good point. How about somebody on lookout? Like, you want to take all the pictures you want. I'll look around and make sure everything's good. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll be me.
I like that.
I'll be like Suge Knight. What? Who? Just like on call, ready to swing.
Yes,
I'll be in jail. I'll be like, Joe, I can't come. I'm locked up. Also, is there what's the bail system here? All right. Lots to talk about. Yeah, pro wrestling.
Hey, did you see any of that All Elite Wrestling premium live event last night?
Absolutely not. No, I did not. Was this All or Nothing, or what was it? Which one was this?
All or double casino, all in, bet the house. I don't know what it's called, but big news for New Japan because Hiroshi Tanahashi made an appearance. Damon, he helped Tomohiro Ishii and Brody King to take out the Don Callis family. And
wow,
Tony Khan said that Tanahashi has been a huge part of AEW TV, and had he known Hiroshi Tanahashi would become such an important part of AEW TV so quickly, he may not have allowed him to work in Japan for his retirement tour. So,
well, it's good. It's good that he's keeping up.
Didn't really say that. I'm funny.
You're just being a goose.
Really goose.
But he did appear. Okay, all right. Well, he didn't wrestle because I don't want to. Let's not. Not more a mere weeks before he was retiring last match in the U.S. But yeah, good. What else happened? What else happened on the show? What of any significance?
I think Gabe Kidd made an appearance during the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Okay, Anarchy in the Arena. Yeah. Well, listen, again, we talked about it before. Best of the Super Juniors. You know, a lot of guys just rather having them working than twiddling their fucking thumbs. So, good for them. Good for them.
Get that bag. Get that bag.
Get the bag. Get the bag. The bag. My wife walks around the house singing this song. Have you seen my bag? It's by one of the. Do you know how awkward a 50-year-old woman walking around the house singing "Have you seen my bag" is?
Oh, I bet it's wonderful.
Really? Yeah. Do you? All right. Well, I got news for you. Ain't that great? All right. AEW.
She stopped doing it. Mm-hmm. She heard you saying unkind things. Was like, right, I'm never doing that again. You'd regret it.
You know what though? She sings. You'd be surprised how the director of HR, the absolute garbage that spews from her mouth, talking about all kinds of bodily functions. Let's put it that way. She's a winner. She's a keeper, Joel. She's a keeper.
So before we get into Best of the Super Juniors, I do want to give a plug to our good friend of the show, J. Michael, who has written a fantastically detailed preview primer for the block finals of Best of the Super Juniors. And I don't think it's been published yet, but I'm sure it will be published soon. So by the time you're listening to this, it will probably be up there. So do go over to voicesofwrestling.com and check it out, because that is your one-stop shop. It is a must-read going into these block finals, because he's got it covered from every single angle. Sort of big picture analysis about the booking, historical trends, sort of data analysis on various permutations, and historically like what New Japan have done in previous situations, and it's very, very insightful. So I have had a good read of that before we've come on the air today. So I just feel that J. Michael and all the other people that write for New Japan, it is mainly J. Michael, but John Carroll as well, the stuff that they write doesn't get enough signal boosting, doesn't get enough love. So I'm going to become the champion for New Japan writing on Voices of Wrestling. So please do go out your way, check that out, read it, because it's very, very good stuff.
There is, again, there's a big difference between the nonsense that we talk about here and, we try to make it somewhat entertaining and somewhat casual and somewhat, we're just two dummies at the bar talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. And every once in a while we have some golden nuggets of information. But, the time and the prep work that they put into those articles, it's really commendable. It really is. And again, you might not agree with everything, every piece of opinion and or analysis, but I really feel like if you're into this product, if you're listening to this show, you should be reading a lot of that, because, I would agree. I don't think there's anybody that really goes to the deep end of the pool with a lot of the product that New Japan puts out. There's a lot of people that can go out there and just be like, okay, I liked this match. Okay. But to really, really, really get into it, and those writers, they definitely do it. They do it, and they do it well and consistently too. There's one thing where it's like, you could write a great article and it's like, okay, well, there's my one for the year. Nah, they're churning out shit. So,
and it always makes me more excited to watch the show that's previewing. I always end up going into the show with more excitement and more understanding than had I not read it. So it will enhance your appreciation of the product.
1,000%. And here's the thing too. It's pretty time consuming. It's not like they're just lobbing stuff off the top of their head. I know people who can retain facts and remember nuances and all the little fucking breadcrumbs and off the top of their head. There are people on this earth that can do that. Not me. But the work that they put in is really. I know. Listen, I can't speak highly enough about it. And
it's a 40-page document J. Michael has written. Just
holy shit! Really?
2 shows, previewing 10 matches. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to do a word count. It's nearly 10,000 words.
Holy moly! I mean, half of those words I probably won't even understand. I'm going to be truthful.
The dictionary out as well, but it's good for me. It's good to expand my vocabulary. But yeah, I'm not saying that to sort of put you off. I'm just saying that means it's good. It means
it's thorough.
And it's thorough. Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our one-word analysis on these shows.
Yeah, it's been fine. See you guys next week. Thank you for listening. Yeah, this is a funny one. It's quite tricky for me to analyse this Best of the Super Juniors because there's a lot of different opinions available. But on the whole, I think the wrestling has been good. As I said before, like high floor, low ceiling. But my biggest problem with it is not the wrestling. It's something we touched on last week. It's the parity booking, where everyone is sort of roughly on the same number of points. There's not a huge range of points between the person at the bottom and the person at the top, and that's led to big log jams with loads of people on 6 points, loads of people on 8 points, really convoluted advancement scenarios going into the final matches. I've been watching all the shows, and the Super J-Cast Discord chat is the most confused it's ever been. Like, watching live in that channel is an absolute mayhem. Like, no one has got any idea who's winning, who's still in it, who's technically eliminated, what matches are coming up next, what block wrestlers are in, who's won or lost a match that's just happened, what 6 + 2 equals. Like, it's just scrambled everyone's brains. And like, I really should have followed my own advice and just not bothered looking at the points until today. Because I think it's a good field, but the field of 20 wrestlers is not strong enough across the board to justify this kind of booking where everyone is like 4 and 5 or 5. There's honestly, I think there's too much, and I know people are going to give me pelters for this because I moan about AEW, Big League, and New Japan, but I think there's too much respect shown to guest wrestlers who work for other promotions, and also too much respect shown to guys who what I would call dojo duds, right? People who've come through the New Japan dojo, and because they've come through the dojo, New Japan think that they're worth persisting with, and they've got to give strong booking to. I think people like specifically SHO and YOH, they're the ones this tournament where they've made me quite cross. And I'm just remembering how refreshing it was when Shingo just beat everyone in 2019. He just swept the block, 9-0. That was incredible and so memorable. And we weren't saying like, oh, but there's no drama on the final right. We're like, this guy's a badass and he's just destroyed everyone. This rocks. I think if you're trying to make everyone look good, then nobody looks good.
Yep.
I think you really need to just pick 2 or 3 guys in each block that you need to elevate, that you want to build the tournament around. And that's kind of what they've done, but it's just taken forever to get there in a way that feels very sloppy and unfocused and has failed in its mission statement to elevate them because they're sort of chugging away alongside guys who really shouldn't be on the same level as them and like dropping wins in crucial stages of the tournament to guys like, Ninja Mac and Dragon Dyer, and they really ought to be beaten late into the tournament, and they're losing these matches just to make the numbers work.
Right.
And when that sense sort of creeps through, like, oh, okay, they've just lost this match so that this XYZ doesn't happen, I think they've really failed to elevate anyone, to generate any kind of momentum or excitement for any of these wrestlers. And, other opinions are available. If you're not a scenario maths nerd, and you may not be bothered about this at all. And I know some people have said that they like the story of everyone being on roughly the same level with, lots of guys vying for advancement on the final night. But I don't think you ought to do that with both blocks. Like, maybe you could do that with one of the blocks, but I think you need a bit of variety. And even with that said, like, I feel we're losing something by not having those guys with 0 points or 2 points or 4 points. And it was Liam on the Discord made a really good point that New Japan has lost the art of someone becoming important in defeat. With like Yuji Nagata in his final G1 27, where he finally got that win. That moment means nowhere near as much if he's gone like 4 and 5 in the tournament before, or like Honma finally getting off the board, beating Ishii in 2015, or even like Doki. Would someone like Doki have resonated with us if he went 4 and 5 in his debut tournament? Liam did go on to say that he thinks Dragon Diarrhea should have gone 0-0 because he should lose so badly he's not in the tournament, but it's still a valid point all the same. Like, I don't think they're doing themselves a disservice by trying to have everyone look good. And as sort of connected point, I do feel that these tours are maybe not designed to be consumed to completion by casual fans. Like, they're not expecting everyone to be watching every single block match and every single show. And yeah, like I said, it's a high floor, low ceiling thing. And I mean, for me, Akira versus Hiromu is still the best match by far. Nothing's come close to that. And it's sad to say, I think you could probably skip most of the tour after the Korakuen shows. Like the thing is, like, Damon, when you tune into these shows, when I load up like night 7, night 8, night 9, and they're in a brightly lit basketball gymnasium, then you know you're not going to get any match of the year output. And that's not a criticism of the wrestlers. Like, you know, you wrestle to the stage, don't you? And I do wish there was sort of more of an incentive and reward for people like us who watch the entire tournament. But there isn't. There's very little narrative continuity going through the tournament. There's very few compelling storylines running from show to show. The frequency of these double block nights make it very hard to distinguish one block from the other. Like, I couldn't tell you who is in A block and who is in B block. And
right.
I think these double block nights, they're cool, used sparingly when it's in like Osaka or Korakuen Hall or something, but there have been too many of them in this tour, and it's just very discombobulating. Like, I can't remember what's happened in any of these matches since we last recorded, and I promise you, I have watched them all. I've been in the live chat, I've been in Discord, I've been following them in real time, sitting down, trying to pay attention, but I could not tell you one thing about them. I sit with my notes open, I've got nothing, right? The matches are all good, but the parity booking just kills any interest and prevents anything from progressing or standing up, prevents me from drawing anything to talk about from them. Like, what is the big storyline of this tournament? Everyone is pretty good. Everyone's roughly on the same level, pants down.
This is the worst for people who do what we do. Like, if it just completely sucked, great. We would have something we can sink our teeth into, and we can talk about what needs to be done next year, or whatever the case may be. Or if it were just, you know, knocking your fucking pants off, and you can't believe that the level of pro wrestling that you're seeing, great. We could go 2 hours and just, this is the worst because it's just there. It's fine, right? It's, you know, it's like talking about a fucking ham and cheese sandwich, right? Well, okay, great. Have you had good ones? Probably. Have you had great ones? Maybe. They're not ringing a bell. You know, it's like, and to rewind and to go back on a couple of your points that I agree with is, one, why wouldn't they want to reward the people who have or that want to? Isn't that what a pro wrestling's wet dream is? A pro wrestling company's wet dream is, oh my God, we have interest and people are just tuning into night 6 and night 7 and they can't wait for nights 8 and 9. Like, there's none of that. It's just like, okay, it ends and you're just like, okay, right? Like, it's not even like, you know, I'm not asking for cliffhangers and I'm not asking for, but the only reason is that you want to watch night 8 and watch night 9 is just because you feel like you have to. You've made it this far, you might as well fucking go to the end. And I don't understand that logic and thinking. Again, do I expect guys to go balls out, you know, in the middle of nowhere at the brightly lit gymnasium? No, but if they were in, you know, if it was a thought process of, okay, let's go out and beat night 7, all right, and let's go out and beat night 6 because I'm on top, and let's, you know, I want people to talk about my match, but there's nothing to make them do that at this point. They're kind of going through the motions, and I've never seen or have witnessed any Best of the Super Juniors that has gone to such lengths to basically stay in place. You know, like, perfect an analogy is, so my wife walks every day, and every morning she's out at like 6:30 in the fucking morning walking around our neighborhood, and she feels like, well, if I don't, then you know, I lose my streak, or I just kind of want to just keep doing it. She's done it for years. And that stupid Apple Watch, you know, how it counts steps and shit. And she's like, oh, I'm like 20 steps short, or, you know, 50 steps short, or whatever, of my goal today. So she'll sit there in the fucking living room and run in place, right? Why? So she can complete these dumb fucking bars. That's exactly what this is. This is running in place to complete bars. And it's like,
really quite a harsh burial of your wife today, Damon.
Am I? I love her. Don't get no. I love her with all of my heart. But again, it's just quirky things that listen. Trust me. If she got on this microphone, Joel, the laundry list of shit, she'd be like, this fucking guy. Do you
Patreon bonus episode?
Yeah. Oh my God. Imagine that if we said, okay, you got an hour. Go for it, girl. Air your grievances. That would be some fucking audio. Be like, he farts in his sleep. I don't know how he does it. He wakes me up every time. Best of the Super Juniors. Yes. So, right. We're running in place. And again, I've never the idea, seriously, how is the common person supposed to get excited over the mathematical wizardry you have to perform to figure out who's moving on and who's not? It's just mind numbing. And trust me, I don't have the fucking energy for that. I'm not a fan of anything, right? Of anything to sit there and do the math to figure out, oh, well, this guy's got the tiebreaker over this one, but this guy won by a DQ, and this guy, what?
It is fine. I think, they've not done the usual tropey things that we have moaned about in the past of, someone starting off losing all their matches and going on a winning streak, or someone starting on a winning streak. Well, the people that did start on a winning streak, Jay Michaels was mentioning, they didn't make a thing of it. They didn't play it up because they were both up and down the card after that. So it's just, the real lack of narrative, lack of excitement and storylines and people to get behind. And even if you have got two guys who are racing ahead of the pack and everyone else is eliminated by this point, and you're looking at that final block night and 4 of the matches are dead rubbers and only one of them counts, I think that, well done, well told, is way more exciting than what we've got here, where, we've got 3 of the 5 matches in each block having implications for who goes through. But at what cost? The people they've picked to be still in the mix are strange choices, and they've eliminated people earlier than this stage that I find really objectionable. We'll get onto that. We'll preview all these matches, but I don't know. Just to the extent to which I've started asking around to see if there's been a change in the person that's booking the junior division, because it just feels like a really weird sort of change of direction, and it feels like the booking has been done by ChatGPT or something.
I mean, I will say this, that to be creative and original, and sometimes you try so hard to be creative and original that you just wind up being creative and original just because you need to be creative and original. It's probably tough to constantly have new formulas and ideas to keep things interesting. That said, this one hasn't worked. And I'll go
instead of doing the same old ideas, let's have no ideas this year and no storylines. See how that works. Right. Tell me, Dave, right, give me one name. Who do you think has become a star? Who has elevated themselves in this Best of Super Juniors? Because I can't pick any of these people.
I mean, Ninja Mac, only because of the fucking you know what I mean. But that's what we're clinging to here. Look. You've seen a lot of Best of the Super Juniors. And you may not have dug as, you may not have gone into the fucking Heat years or the, there were some pretty dreadful times. Don't get me wrong. To me, this might go down in the bottom of the pack of Best of the Super Juniors.
It feels like really objectionably less than the sum of its parts.
When you go down that lineup, though, that is a really fucking solid lineup. I'm sorry. I feel like it really is a solid lineup that
they should have done more with.
Yeah.
And to do that, you've got to make tough decisions and have difficult conversations and say, sorry, you're getting 4 points this year, or you're getting 2 points this year. And if people are not open to that, then find someone else to do it. Get in Taka Michinoku or getting Katsuya Murashima. There were loads of people who would have done it.
Keep boosting. Well, I mean, I've never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but, he served the purpose. I'm just, it's bottom of the pack this year. And there's absolutely no reason why it should be. other than we're trying to, as the kids would say, Joel, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
And just the choices of the wrestlers who are still in the mix as well are
Yeah.
bizarre. So in A block, there's 4 wrestlers with a realistic chance of getting through. There's Wato, Fujita, Clark, and Hiromu. And I don't really have any huge objections with that because I think Wato and Fujita should definitely be in that conversation. Clark, yeah, you can make a case for that. I really do think Francesco Akira should have been there because it felt like he was the one person that early on in the tournament was grabbing the headlines and starting to get people to take notice with some outstanding wrestlings. And I think he is, like, if it were up to me, right, the story of this Best of Super Juniors would have been Akira surging through one of the blocks and Fujita surging through another block, and then they meet in the finals to wrestle for the future of the junior division. That would have been how I went with it. But so there's that. We've got 4 wrestlers in A block who are vying for it. But B block is even weirder because we've got 3 wrestlers who are in the mix. El Desperado, completely understandable. Yeah, he's your champion. Probably should be there. Yo and Mao. And then to a lesser extent, SHO with a weird tiebreaker scenario where we've eliminated Titan early. We've eliminated Robbie Eagles early. And I just think, what?
Nick Wayne went on to shit the bed. yeah.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I expected that. But I think you don't have the luxury of doing that kind of booking with guys like Titan and Eagles, who I think are, 2 of the best wrestlers in this field, but already eliminated. Like, why not have at least Robbie Eagles still being in the mix coming into this final match with Despy, and he's wrestling for nothing? And like the main events we've got for the A block finals is Hiromu versus Robbie X, and the B block finals is Yo versus Taiji Ishimori. Like,
right.
What is this?
I have zero interest
with all the exciting young wrestlers you've got at your disposals. You've got guys like Akira and Wato. I know is divisive, but at least he's young. I find him exciting. Fujita. We got Titan, Robbie Eagles, El Desperado, and we're going with Hiromu, Robbie X, and Yo and Ishimori. I don't get it. I don't understand.
And if you look at A, it's like, okay, there's only really one win separating the dog shit from the I almost made it. You know what I mean? Like Ninja Mac is just 2 points away. One win difference between Ninja Mac and
the future of your division, Kosei Fujita.
Thank you.
And he beat him in the previous show.
Right.
The fucking ironic GIF wrestler is beating your future junior ace.
Right.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, we do know because it's to level up the points to make the maths work.
But okay, so even so, you have Taguchi at 6 points in Block B, 6 points, and like Robbie Eagles with 8, Ishimori with 8. It just, and again, you're right. The Despy, sure, you get. Of course, he should be near the top of a block. Yo, all right. But if they're going to do a thing with, okay, you have an outsider that is close, if tied for the top spot with 10 points, right? You got to go all in, don't you think? Like at this point, don't you think you had to go all in and have the idea of an outsider going into the finals? Like I would think that would be the thing to do if you've gone this far with 10 points. But again, to my original point, it's like that differential between the bottom rung, the guy who, he just didn't have it, and he's got to go back to the fucking drawing board and watch the videotape and figure it out, to the guy that's almost by the hair of his ass it didn't make it. It seems preposterous to me, but who am I? Like Ninja Mac has the same amount of points as Teton. Come on, what are we doing here?
That is a war crime. They should
right
sent to the Hague for that one.
So, is there intrigue? Well, let me ask you this: you know the Discord, you know it. Is there any buzz for this? Because I have gotten zero conversation about it.
No,
Like,
it's mostly negative. People,
is it?
yeah, people are down on it.
All right. And I'm not saying
What's the most exciting result we could get out of this? I can't really think of any sequence of events where we come out of these two block finals and like, oh yeah, okay, now it all makes sense. I'm just sitting here shitting my pants because I'm terrified that we're going to go with a horrifying possibility of then booking a pandemic post-traumatic stress disorder trip of Hiromu versus YOH. But I don't think my fragile mental health can handle that.
Yeah, I'm really racking my brain here trying to think of like what like realistically, A, what could possibly happen, and B, what would I thoroughly enjoy? And there's really not a lot of options on the table, to be honest with you.
There just seems to be like a serious disconnect between the guys that I'm excited about and I think the division should be built around, where I think, it should have been guys like Fujita and Akira at the top, being like closely run with guys like Robbie Eagles and Titan being like the final boss, like the final hurdle for them to overcome sort of towards the latter stages of the tournament. And maybe guys like, Clark and I mean, you can have your big names, Hiromu and Desperado. They should be up there, but that to me should have been the way this is laid out. Like, you pick a small handful of people; they're the guys you want to get over, and the whole tournament revolves around them, and everyone else is just they are bit part players. They are there to enhance and help get that story over. You can't get everyone over in a tournament. That's not what it's for.
Right. So what's the match? And here's the thing, Best of the Super Juniors, they aren't really that afraid of making someone that you would think on paper shouldn't be in a final, just like for traditional pro wrestling sake. They're not afraid to go outside the box a little bit. That said, it does somewhat feel like we're en route to a pretty traditional, and I put that in air quotes, final, don't you think? I guess this is not elevate star moment, right?
No, I mean it could be, and I'm still that's my copium that we are still going with Fujita, and it's like, I don't know, Fujita versus Despy in the final or something. But I just cannot discount the possibility of them thinking like, oh, let's do Hiromu versus Desperado again. Or,
that's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like this is the Hiromu, thanks for everything you've done for being a junior type tournament, type final. And I could be dead wrong. Maybe they just flip it and say, you know what? Everyone kind of is leaning that way. We're going to go the opposite way. I don't know. Who knows? But even that's like, I'm not sitting here thinking like, oh, what an incredible shock that would be. It really, I don't know.
And the fact that they've kind of spread out the main events has made it difficult to latch on to people and sort of focus and tell those stories. Like, again, this A block final, Hiromu versus Robbie X.
Right.
It's just bizarre. And if it is, again, I was just talking to Jay Michael, that if the direction is Kosei Fujita, which I would applaud at the end of the day, because, that's a guy that they should be getting behind and would be a worthy winner of Best of the Super Juniors. He's been excellent. Then that would have been fixed by showcasing him a bit more, having more main events with him, and sort of structuring and spreading, organising his wins in a way that told a story rather than, oh, it's good, oh, he's lost, he's won, oh, he's lost, oh, he's lost a ninja mat, like, because that's nonsense.
Yeah. I honestly wish I had something where I could say, but you're forgetting about this, slight possibility. I mean, we're hanging our hats on a miracle here, and this is pro wrestling. They can do it, but are we at the point where we just want it to be over?
Let's like dig into previewing these matches,
right,
then, because I think we can sort of get into the weeds with some specific issues with specific wrestlers. And I'm going to lay out sort of realistic advancement scenarios as explained like I'm 5 by J. Michael, and ignore the recursive tiebreakers because there's almost zero precedent for those. Like, we talk about them, but they never actually happen until they do. I mean, never say never, but I'm just going to ignore them for today. And if I end up looking silly, then so be it. Wouldn't be the first time. So A block final, that'll be Tuesday in Shizuoka. So we're starting off with Ninja Mac, who's on 6 points, versus Dragon Dyer, who's on 8 points. They're both eliminated. I expect the points to be leveled. I would expect Ninja Mac to win, and they both end up on 8 points. Maybe it's Dragon Dyer on 10 and Ninja Mac stays. I don't really care, to be honest. This just sort of highlights the issue with the parity booking. And as we said before, Ninja Mac beating Kosei Fujita feels morally repugnant in spite of his 130 million Twitter views, which is extremely nerd behavior from him. But yeah, I mean, Dragon Dyer's been good. Not really connected with him though. Ninja Mac, fun, gifts, silly, undercards. Yeah, fine. 6 points. No thanks.
I can't believe. Well, you know what? I can believe. What am I saying? That I'm all right. Help me with this. The tongue was firmly planted in said cheek, correct? With that comment of yes, but I have a million likes or whatever it was, or views or whatever it was.
I don't know, because the person who tweeted it didn't. It wasn't at
malicious.
No, it wasn't at Ninja Mac.
Right.
It just says, I wake up and find out Fujita might be out of best of Super Juniors because he lost to who? With a picture of a cat. Like, they've not even mentioned Ninja Mac's name. And then he's, maybe he knows this person and maybe they're sort of having a joke together. But he's replied using like Google Translate Japanese, saying he lost to the guy who recorded 130 million views on this tour with a crying, laughing emoji, which just, it seems like extremely gotten to nerd behavior to me. So, yeah, unless there's a backstory to that with someone going to like me, that's just terminally online behavior. Just log off.
It's just, who gives a shit, right? I mean, my goodness gracious, that's how we're judging.
Let's see if you can convert those 130 million views into some sort of currency. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Trust me, we've tried. They'll win. They'll even it up. He'll win. It'll be even. Why not? Like, who cares? Give them both 8. I mean, listen, I'm sure there's mathematics involved here, but yeah, fine. Ninja Mac can win.
They brought them back. Why, they were both in last year and they were okay. Why have they brought them back again this year?
Well, you would think they would be brought back because they can lose to people, but at 3 and 5, that's a little bit better than I expected for Ninja Mac, and 4 and 4, 500 for Dragon, as you love to call him, Diarrhea.
Honestly, I would have rather had Taka Michinoku and Katsuya Murashima in there.
Yeah. Go
both of them going 0.
Yeah, 1 and 7 or whatever. Yeah. Or
build up to Taka Michinoku, or I know they don't do it for young lions, but yeah, Taka getting a big surprise feel good win on the last day by, I don't know, rolling up Kanemaru or something. That would have been a cool story. That would have been memorable, and everyone would have enjoyed that. Where, I've just repeated myself at this point. Let's move on to the next match. Is Kushida, who's on 6 points, versus Akira, who's on 8 points. So Francesco Akira was building a lot of momentum, but he got himself disqualified against Clark Connors.
Come on, what the fuck is that?
I know. This is so stupid because Akira should be in the final because he's incredible, and one of the rare cases of a guy who did seem to be building momentum in spite of the booking, not because of it. But at the very least, this has been sacrificed at the altar of a brewing blood feud, because I'm assuming there's going to be more between Akira and Clark. And I don't like it. I don't like what they did because it is stupid, and it's stupid of Akira to do that. But I'm going to give him a pass because while it is bad and stupid to eliminate him before the final block night, it does carry with it the weight of Akira's history with Clark and the War Dogs, and he's got a lot of trauma from those previous matches. I think they could have signposted it a bit more, like have Clark Connors pull a fork out or something to taunt Akira and bring back his trauma from those past matches, and then Akira sees the fork and then snaps, and then you kind of understand it. You're like, okay, he just saw red there, and Clark shows Akira a TJP tweet or something, and that sends him over the edge, and he's like, caves his head in with the chair.
It's so fucking NXT. Look at my hands, bullshit.
No, I know, but I think this is one of the rare cases where that would have worked. But well, okay, I might be in the minority. You might be listening to this and thinking, no, that's stupid as well. But yeah, Akira's got himself disqualified, so he is out of the running. Kushida's been really good this tournament. I had no problems with him having 6 points. I imagine Akira's going to win and end up on 10 points, but it's just a shame. I feel like he was one of the hottest wrestlers with that, nice video coming in about him learning the ground tarantula from Tajiri and something that is something that should have been built on, but it's not, and he's eliminated, and I just think that's daft.
It's terrible. And let's go one step further with this fucking DQ. Like, this is a thing that a heel would do, right? To make a bonehead move, get disqualified. But, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't you consider him a kind of a baby face?
Yeah, it's 100%.
Okay. So he just looks like a complete and fucking idiot right now.
Yeah.
All he had to do nothing, but yet he gets disqualified. Like, it's just, and again, I know second ref sees, okay, great. I get it. Why in this spot would they be like, yep, here's what we're going to do? And I'm telling you, I love the fact that there are a lot of guys that we talk to that have and I would say, unless things drastically changed, they don't necessarily know 100% how these things are going to pan out in the tournaments. And he had to have looked at that and said, I got to do what? What's happening? Okay. Like, it's just makes him look like a fucking boob. I don't know. Joel, I watched that match and I saw it all unfold, and I the only reaction was hands in the air, shoulder shrug, and I just rolled my eyes. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it was such a deflating show to watch, wasn't it? Because the wrestling was really good, and then all the results and booking were like, what? They're doing no.
Right. Like, what? But it might be one of the biggest bonehead moves I've ever seen from a booking perspective. And like, how does this make him look like at the very least an intelligent human being? How does this at the very least make it like I get it. Oh, I'm so mad at the fucking War Dogs, and I'm so I lost my composure. I get it, and but it cost you to fuck like you. I don't whatever. I'm trying to make sense of things that don't make sense. Pro wrestling. Okay, great. Sorry.
So then we're into sort of advancement scenarios here. So the match after that will be Master Wato, who's on 10 points, against Kanemaru, who's on 8 points. So Wato will advance if he wins.
Yeah.
And Hiromu and Clark Connors both lose or draw. So Wato, I think, has had a decent tournament. I don't think he's been outstanding. He's had a couple of sort of wobbly performances, things like the Suten Kaku suplex not landing quite cleanly and sort of just being sort of slightly off. He's not been at his very best here, but he is a dojo guy. That's always something worth keeping in mind. So that was always going to lead to favourable booking, and I do think he is someone worth investing in, and I know your mileage will vary on that, Damon, but also keep in mind here, he is a tag champion, so there's not much precedence for a tag champion going through to the finals of Best of the Super Juniors. So that was, a conscious decision to put the tag title on him before the tournament. And his partner, Yo, has a loss to SHO, who is Kanemaru's partner. So I suspect Kanemaru might be playing spoiler here. I don't see Wato going through to the final. And honestly, if he does, I wouldn't hate that, because at least it's sort of committing to something relatively fresh and future facing. I know other people might be like, what, Wato in the final? That would be rubbish. But I like him, so I wouldn't hate that, but I don't think that's the direction they're going to go. So I do think I mean, Kanemaru wouldn't necessarily have to play spoiler. You could have Watto winning, and if Watto wins, then that eliminates Fujita.
Yeah, he controls his destiny, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does. So Watto doesn't, because Watto, even if he wins, he still needs Hiromu and Kolos to. Yeah. So, but Watto winning would eliminate Fujita. So they will probably do that, right? I'll be sitting there thinking like I'm going to craft the path for Kosei Fujita to make it to the final, and then Watto's just going to win like a nice sort of clean 8-minute match, pin Kanemaru, and then Fujita's eliminated, and I'm like I'm going to be tearing my hair out, but I'm going to huff the copium and say Kanemaru gets an upset win. They both end up on 10 points, and then that sets something up for the junior tag titles.
I mean, that would be a most desirable outcome, and I think that the possibility is there. But
again, Kanemaru should not be on 10 points. That would annoy me. I'd be happy that I was correct, but also like, why is Yoshinobu Kanemaru getting 10 points?
Well, he'll be at 8, right?
He's on 8 now.
Okay.
So if he wins, he and Watto will both be on 10.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.
This is so stupid, isn't it? I mean, I like Kanemaru. Like I said, he's got a role. He's best of Super Junior. He's Junior Yano. He's there to get the sort of quick upset wins, and you don't really lose much by losing to Kanemaru. But he doesn't need 10 points. If you're more sparing with those shock wins, then they mean more. They're more memorable.
Yeah.
If he'd done it twice in the tournament rather than 5 times.
Okay, I'm going to say a dumb thing, and it wouldn't be the first time. I thought Kanemaru was at 6 points.
Maybe he is right. I'm going to have to check my maths now because I could be wrong. Let's have a look.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I could be dead wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I thought he was at 6. Here are the people I have at 6. Ninja Mac right now, Kanemaru, Robbie X.
He's on 8, so he beat Clark, Akira, Fujita. Oh. No, you're right. See, I'm on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia says he's got 8 points.
No.
He's not.
Because he did beat those 3, but he lost to Diarrhea, X, I just like saying it now at this point, Hiromu, Kushida, and Ninja Mac, right?
Yeah, you are right. You're correct. Sorry. Yeah, I've got a Wikipedia mistake here.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Wow, look at me. Look at me go. So he'll have 8 points.
Yeah.
But that's still...
My point still stands.
Correct.
Just slightly less.
Correct. But again, that feels even more so that Kanemaru gets the win. Because it doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
I think you might be onto something. I mean, that's really... Look, we're clutching at fucking straws here. That's what we're hanging on here. Like we're fucking doing the gymnastics to hopefully make this something watchable. The problem is this. If it is Master Wato, if it is, I have zero confidence. Look, again, I talk about finals and having them be memorable and at least be like something that's worthy of being a finals. And I'm sorry, to this date, he might be good some days. He might be a little shaky the other days. Master Wato was not it. I want to be very clear. And if he does deliver, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'll fucking eat a hat or... but I have zero confidence in that being a great match, no matter who is in the ring with him. Sorry. And I'm going to go so far as this. I don't want to say it. I have zero... Tell me the truth. Again, you might be a little bit more up on him than me. Fair enough. Everybody's got that. People like other people more than others. Does Master Wato in the finals fucking get your spine tingling?
No.
Yeah. It doesn't. Me neither.
But would I... Okay, so if I'm ranking who I would take him over, I would rather see him in the final than...
Hiromu?
I was going to say it.
Come on.
I'd rather see him in the final than Hiromu.
I'd rather see Hiromu. I'd rather see Hiromu.
That's fair.
I mean, I get the
Okay, what about Wato or Yo? I know they're in different blocks, but...
They're two of my least favorite, be quite frank. The fucking, what is it? The art school fucking Jarvis Cocker fuckface.
I've heard you're art student.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's a J. Michaelism.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot of love on the show, and well deserved.
Yeah. And listen, I love Jarvis Cocker. Let me be very clear on that. I have my pulp tickets in hand. I'd rather see Wato, to be honest with you. I'm not saying something. I really don't like Yo.
Well, we'll save it. We'll have Fitty in the can. Right. Let's move on. So we've got. So again, correct me if my points tallies are wrong, because again, I just copied them off Wikipedia without checking. Clark Connors, who's on 10 points, against Kosei Fujita, who's on 8. So Clark would advance if he wins, and Hiromu loses or draws. Fujita will advance if he wins, and Hiromu and Wato both lose. So all the tiebreakers go Fujita's way,
right.
Which that's what's given me a glimmer of hope that this is possible. We could see it, like Kanemaru getting the upset win over Wato. Robbie X beating Hiromu.
Come on,
slightly more difficult to convince myself of.
Right,
but at least there is a relatively clear path there, and I hope that's what it is. But the more I talk about it with you, the more that seems unlikely. But it could happen. Clark Connors, he doesn't seem to be wrestling like a guy who has been told he's going through to the Best of Super Juniors final. It's been a little bit gimmicky with the
big tire. The big tire doesn't scream finals to you.
It does not seem like serious main event wrestler, and that's not a knock on him as a wrestler. I think he is a very good wrestler and can carry himself with the seriousness needed to convey a proper main event tournament winning feud. But he's not done that on this tour, which is why it's a little bit confusing that he is still in the mix, but someone like Akira is not. I think Fujita's been great this tournament. He should be the guy. He should be winning this tournament, and I hope he still does. So I'm putting my clown makeup on and saying Kosei Fujita wins here to set the table for an upset going through.
I think the chances of it happening are decent. Because it's more to do with Clark working that ultra bullshit style for him to lose in a big way. That's what I'm really hanging my hat on, is the fact that Clark Connors has been so fucking insufferable that I think people are looking for the idea of somebody winning and everybody popping out of their chairs for it. The fucking dickhead finally got his. That's what I'm hanging my hat on here. Again, Hiromu losing to Robbie X. Ugh, that's a stretch. I think it's a long shot, Joel, but there is a shot that it happens. I mean, we're talking a long shot. The biggest
Carrey
problem
on Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance?
there is, but again, the biggest fucking monkey wrench in this whole thing is Hiromu Robbie X. Let's be honest, right? That's the biggest.
Yes, but I'm going to put an asterisk on that, which we'll come on to in a minute.
Okay.
Which may change your mind. I've got something in the holster for you.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, you ready for that?
I'm right. Oh, yeah.
So main event. What a weird main event. Hiromu, who's on 10 points against Robbie X, already eliminated. He's on 6 points. Hiromu, I think, has been very good. You know, when he gets the tap on the shoulders, he can have great matches. Again, it's still my favourite match of the tournament, him against Akira. I thought him against Fujita was excellent as well. And I think his best role in the junior division is helping those young guys get over the line, help them to get over. I think him as a sort of championship level player in the junior division is tired. I'm not interested in that anymore. Robbie X has exceeded my expectations. They were admittedly low going in, but I think he's noticeably improved over the tournament and tightened things up as I predicted he would. I thought it would take him a bit longer, but he's actually had some really excellent matches. I thought he gave Dragon Dyer his best match. Again, I said last time I thought the Kushida match was really good, and there's been very, very good output from Robbie X. Now, Hiromu advances if he wins. So he controls his own destiny.
Right.
Whilst it is hard to imagine Robbie X beating Hiromu, keep in mind, Robbie X is a late replacement for Bushi, who I think had never beaten Hiromu. Not that they would have wrestled each other a ton, but if that was the original plan, like from the start, their main event for the final block night, Block A, was Hiromu against Bushi, then would you think there's more potential for an upset there? If it was Hiromu versus Bushi, would you be thinking, something's up here?
Yeah. And maybe this is just a matter of just, hey, listen, we just need a warm body in this fucking spot. Okay. All right, keep going.
Well, that's it. If I'm my theory of them just sort of transposing the Bushi booking onto Robbie X, then there is a case to be made for Robbie X getting the upset win here. Now, it would be really weird, and I just think the structuring of this card and having this as the main event and not Clark versus Fujita is so odd, because if you're going to do that, if Fujita is a direction, then why would you not have this match before? Because otherwise, if, let's say, Wato has lost and Fujita has won, so Fujita's still alive going into this, and all the crowd excitement is like, Fujita might do it, then all the fans are watching this match thinking about Fujita and not thinking about Robbie X or Hiromu.
I hate when they do that.
Which just seems like, to me, it's just a weird choice. And I can sort of see logic, like Hiromu has his destiny in his own hands, so you've got to have him in the main event. Otherwise, it's kind of telegraphing that he's going to lose if he's not in the main event, like blah, blah, blah. But I just think it's a really weird choice for a main event. Whereas if they'd maybe sort of telegraphed it a bit, again, if it is Fujita being the direction and put Fujita versus Clark as the main event, I would have been excited about that. Just even a little thing like tweaking the match order, I would be like, Kosei Fujita Clark Connor's main event, fuck yeah, like there's going to be fireworks there. Whereas now I'm thinking maybe they're just going to go with Hiromu, Old Faithful.
Here's why I think it's Hiromu, and why it's extra weird for me when it comes to Robbie X, who has had a very good tournament. Let's be very clear on that. And we're not shitting on the idea of him as a wrestler. We're shitting on the idea of it as, okay, he's spoiling the party. And again, maybe it's just a matter of he's plopped into that role and we knew it from fucking day one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we or have we not heard rumblings of Hiromu moving up?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything substantial, but just little things, and seeing the people that he has put over earlier in the tournament, like seeing him put over Fujita and Akira, and noises he's been making backstage, and that sort of post-match thing he did where he was pretending to announce something big, that's made me think, if you were to put the Super J-Cast branded gun to my head, I do think he's going to move up to heavyweight.
Okay. So again, if that does come to pass, do you want your junior in an elevatory, if that's a word I've just made up, role, moving up to heavy, losing in a big spot to Robbie X?
Probably not. I don't think people would remember it. I don't think people would be like, oh, this guy lost to Robbie X. How are we going to take him seriously as a heavyweight?
Mm-hmm.
Because
stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened, yeah. But again, the temptation to do, oh, well, if this is Hiromu's last hurrah as a junior heavyweight, let's have him go all the way to the finals. That's the bigger worry for me than damaging his credibility by him losing to Robbie X.
Yeah. All right, listen. We got all our eggs in the Fujita basket. Let's find out. We can hope.
Let me ask you: can you rank your order of preference for those four? Hiromu, Wato, Connors, and Fujita.
Yeah, unfortunately, two of them are in one match. I gave Clark Connors as a dark horse, right? Now, who do you want to win? If it was up to you, out of those four, okay, so he would be your choice if you had the book. 1,000%.
All right, and second.
I mean, if the numbers were starting with clean slates, Acura.
No, out of those four, the four that's Hiromu, Wato, Connors, and Fujita.
Next would be probably Connors, and then Hiromu, and then
and then big gap for you, and then
yep, and then the return of one Jushin Thunder Liger, and then I would go with fucking Ricky Fuji next.
So your official prediction, without me infecting you with my Fujita brainworms, who do you think is actually going through?
Hiromu.
Okay.
Hiromu. Again, would I love a pro wrestling moment where where all of our heads are spinning and Fujita makes it through? Yep, that'd be great. There's a lot of math that has to happen. And I think the I don't want to say the simpler thing to do, because this tournament has not been about simplicity, would be Hiromu. And it's a guy. He's a guy. Like, nobody's going to sit there and cry if Hiromu is in the finals. You know, people will be like, "Oh, of course, he's the most recognizable name in the fucking event."
I think the home fans, the domestic fans, would like that and cheer for that.
Yeah, probably, right? I mean, of that list, he's the guy that has the most, casual fan, we'll call it, name recognition. So, there you go.
They should have the Hiromu versus Robbie X match take place with Fujita literally peeking from behind a curtain for the entire.
He should be ringside.
just his head peeking out from behind a curtain the whole time.
Okay. All right. I love it when they have all the guys at ringside. To me, it's one of those, like, they, again, I'm dating myself here, but like when they would have everybody in like that year's Best of the Super Juniors t-shirt at ringside, just, on their knees, their elbows on the apron, and they're fucking watching and rooting, and like that means something to me. I wish they would. I love it when they do it, and they should lean into that more. It doesn't feel like they lean into that, though.
So B block, that's Thursday in Niigata. So first match is Taguchi, who's on 6 points, against Kevin Knight, who's also on 6 points. I think both of those things are surprising to me, because I thought Kevin Knight, who's been really good, I thought he would get more of a bump from his AEW stardom. I thought Tony would have been on the phone being like, I demand this guy gets 10 points. Taguchi, I didn't think he'd be getting 6. I thought he would be 0-4, but he's actually been really good in this tournament. So
at what he does,
conflicting thing is, yes, it's a shame that Kevin Knight is putting it all together after signing for AEW. and a dual contract. My arse, I'm not sure I believe that, but you got to hand it to ISIS. I think AEW have used him well. There was Andrew on the Discord who said that he's one of the few wrestlers who've actually flourished since jumping to AEW. I guess you could also put Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher in that camp. And yeah, Taguchi's been surprisingly good. It's just strange how they decided that 2025, this is going to be the tap on the shoulder tournament for him, like having a surprisingly good main event match with Despy, like unusually gritty and compelling compared to the usual bum-centered output, like the Mao match where Mao's got his head literally down Taguchi's tights and doing a Styles clash with his bum.
It's a very popular DDT spot. Let's put it that way. It's and again, to sit here and call me a DDT aficionado is a stretch, but it feels like every time I turn it on, somebody's head is down somebody's pants. It's fucking ridiculous.
they do be like that.
Oh my Lord. It's like fucking, it's like friggin' grade 10, high school fucking gym locker room bullshit. When you fucking just discover you can get boners. Not that I did this, but Joel's like, what are you talking about? I've never done any of this. Well, you haven't done this with your friends? Fucking play hide the hat carrot? Look, it's not for me. And we've said it 1,000 times that Taguchi's good at what he does. So's fucing the Offspring, and I don't give a shit about that. About that. So
what bizarre reference! I was not expecting.
No, you didn't think I would bring out my late '90s kind of punk, not even punk, skate punk.
New metal? Are they new metal? I don't know if they can.
Would they be new metal? I don't know. They're just a silly band. Yeah. It was something.
More new metal, I think.
Yeah. Do you remember? You sent me. I need to know your feelings on this, and I hadn't watched the match yet. And I was like, well, I haven't watched the match, but I went online just to see results, and how they have the pictures of, kind of highlights of the match and still photos and all. I'm telling you, every fucking photo was somebody's head was down somebody's pants in either the front or the. Like, I was just like, every fucking picture is somebody's head is in somebody's crotch. God bless them. Listen. Not whatever. It's not for me. It's not for me.
So I think Kevin Knight wins this, so he would end up on Nate Taguchi on the
yes.
So that would be extremely funny if heavyweight AEW star Kevin Knight is eating a pin to Taguchi, who's got his arse cheek spread over his face or something. Okay, so there's that. And then we've got Titan on 6 points, Nick Wayne on 8 points. Just bizarre, unforgivable to eliminate Titan so early, who, honestly, I think he's the best wrestler in the field by some distance. I think he is far and away the most talented, consistent guy. He is awesome, and this is just a travesty that he's only got 6 points. And I do think the crowd was noticeably deflated when he got pinned by SHO. Like, what? He's out this soon? Like, that's crazy. Because, I think this would have been a cool match to have some stakes attached to it. I would hope Titan wins this, and him and Wayne get even up on 8 points, but you never know if Tony makes a phone call. But hopefully Titan wins and has the dubious dignity of going 4-5. It's like still having a losing record. Like, it's so annoying. You're like, he should have been a key player in this tournament. Like, imagine how great it would have been to have, I don't know, let's say Akira has got to beat Titan in the block final in order to secure his place in the finals. Like, that would have been sick, but no, we can't have that.
I mean, look, politics aside, like I'm sure there's plenty of logistics and nonsense that goes on of like, this guy can't lose to that guy, or we need this guy to be level with this guy, probably, or maybe not as much as we want to think. Who knows, right? At the end of the day, though, like, yeah, it was that finish was a huge disappointment, to be honest. I'm going to ask a weird question. Are you surprised that Tony Khan hasn't sniped Titan?
No, I think he's got access to enough luchadors that he probably didn't see the value there. And I don't think New Japan books him strongly enough for him to really stand out in a way that is noticeable to the casual American fan.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the mix a few years ago, wasn't he? In the finals, right? Semifinals?
Yes, yeah. But I think that was
an anomaly.
Around the time AEW weren't so aggressively hoovering up.
He'd be one of the guys I would snipe in a moment, in a fucking heartbeat. You're right. He's just so good, and maybe being so good doesn't necessarily matter anymore. He's so good. I would take him, and I would. Right, I would just blank check it. I don't know what money you'd make with Teton. Let's be honest, but who knows? I don't know. I just think there's that like to have somebody like that go to waste. What do I know? All right. So what? That's Teton, Nick Wayne. Yeah, I think that we'll be even at points on that one.
So then we get into advancement scenarios here, where we've got Mao on 10 points versus SHO with 8 points. So yeah, I think Mao's been really good this tournament. Like when he's doing the serious wrestling, I think he is excellent. He's really impressed me.
Underrated.
The DDT stuff, I can take it or leave it.
You don't like that? You don't like all that stuff?
I like when he goes into a square. I've said that. When he looks like Mr. Strong from the Roger Argues Mr. Men books. But there's no denying that when he switches it on, that he's an incredibly talented and exciting and charismatic wrestler. So he wins. So he advances if he wins and Yo and Despy both lose or draw. So there we go.
So Yo's got
SHO.
Okay, good.
We'll come on to those ones. SHO, aside from being a waste of fucking space, he could go through on a 10-point tiebreaker logjam. So if everyone ends up on 10 points, like if Despy loses and then Yo loses, then SHO would get in by virtue of having a better record in that 10-point logjam. Okay. But I just... This is what I mean about dojo duds. I hate that he, like Yo, will continue to get generous booking and be featured because they are dojo guys. And they shouldn't, because he, ever since his joined House of Torture, has been funny in parts, but just a complete waste of talent. Because I know some people will disagree and think like when he was doing sort of the mini Shingo routine, they thought that was bad. I liked it. I thought it was good. Too. And I thought if he continued on that trajectory as being this sort of high energy, power lifting junior heavyweight, then that would have been really cool and something that the division is kind of lacking at this point. But no, he's just a silly pantomime villain, and I just don't enjoy it. I don't think it's funny or creative. It's just really deflating. It's skippable at the moment. Like when I see him up against someone, I just think, I'm not sure I can be bothered to watch this.
He's in the finals.
I can't rule it out. I mean, they put House of Torture in finals before, haven't they?
I mean, you look at those two matches that have to occur. Like, Despy has to lose, right? That's number one. He's wrestling Robbie Eagles, which could definitely fucking happen. Definitely fucking happen. And then, what? Yo's got to beat Taiji Ishimori, right?
No, if Ishimori beats Yo, then...
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, flip that. You're right.
Yeah.
So Ishimori has to beat Yo.
Yeah.
That's fucking doable, dude.
Tell me you cannot see SHO and House of Torture getting involved in that main event.
You think?
Load of shenanigans, loads of run-ins to cost Yo the match.
I mean, like, we sat here in Block A trying to fucking come up with crazy scenarios to get our guy through. This, in Block B, seems like both things are absolutely not far-fetched and definitely on the table. Robbie Eagles beating El Desperado would not shock me in the least. Ishimori beating Yo would not shock me in the least. SHO's making it to the fucking finals. Chew on that for a minute. Chew on that. Think of that. Despy, who has been the most consistent and not only consistent, consistently great, and like truly a guy who we are all comfortable with being a guy and the guy for the juniors. And Taiji Ishimori, who is just a matter of heating up and cooling down and heating up and cooling down, and it is always in the mix. Robbie Eagles could beat Despy, and then that sets up a program for the title, right? Possibly.
Yeah.
Taiji Ishimori is a stud and a name in the junior division. Could absolutely beat the fucking art school dropout. Joel, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
And there was a load of fuckery, wasn't there? Was it Ishimori versus SHO where there was some shit with Gedo putting the ref into the ring at the right? Like you could see that just being some kind of angle. And okay, let's run with this, right? Let's explore this. If SHO does win this block and go through to the final, do you think there is any value in a SHO versus Fujita final where Fujita has to overcome the odds to win Best of Super Juniors against Dastardly Heel SHO?
No, because there's not enough. I mean, I don't know if that's the right guy to be put in that role to be the ultimate fucking we want you to win and we don't want House of Torture to win. Like, I just don't think he's built up enough fucking connection with the fans to be able to be that guy. Like, it would all be based off of that match, right? Because what history is there? Like, where's the emotional investment in that? Other than, I just want to see SHO fucking get his lunch handed to him. That's it. I don't think it's, and I'll go so far as to say, okay, maybe there's enough there and enough bad will on the House of Torture part where fans would be like, I don't give a fuck who it is. We're 1,000% behind him. I don't think he's built up that type of dare I say, a relationship to be the guy that's like, oh, right, let's buy some fucking tickets and see this guy get his fucking ass handed to him. I don't know. I don't know. Like, honestly, you're going to think I'm insane, but aside from Hiromu being in that role, which I could absolutely see, right? Master Wato would probably be second. Because what you're rooting for at that point is the young guy beating the fucking jerk-off heel. Hiromu's probably better suited for that role. And I hate to say it, but Master Wato too. Show's in.
I can guarantee he's beating Mao and is going to make us all be sweating for the rest of this show.
All right. Is that going to make... All right. So let me ask you this. There's a big difference between... Like, nobody's watching this program to see the heels get theirs. What we're doing is we're watching this program to say, oh, anybody but this guy, because I just don't want this. I don't want this nonsense in the fucking main event.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to run in. There'll be Keystone Cops, clown card nonsense with House of Torture guys interfering in at least one of the two matches that follow this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that doesn't make for a good show, where I'm rooting for a guy not to be in it just because I don't want to see the nonsense, as opposed to, oh, it's 1986 and I'm fucking rooting for, I don't know, Paul Orndorff against Roddy Piper. You know what I mean? Like nobody's watching this product because of that. Oh, I'm telling you, if SHO's in it, I'm sorry, this will be the worst Best of the Super Juniors.
Worst of the Super Juniors.
Oh,
it's right there.
It was. I did fucking give you the layup on that one.
Next match then. Despy is on 10 points. Robbie Eagles is on 8 points. So Despy advances if he wins, and then Yo loses or draws. So there's not a huge amount of recent precedent for the champion winning their block and going through to the final.
Right.
But it could happen. Like, there is the possibility of Despy doing that, and maybe he puts up the title as well if he makes the final. So the final could be for Best of the Super Juniors and the title. He would be the first champion to win the block since Devitt, in 2013. He has said he wants to defend his title against Jun Kosei. It could be that Fujita beats Despi in the final, but then loses the title match after that if there's a separate title match, but then comes back and finally gets the win, let's say, at Wrestle Kingdom. And again, I've got some stats from J. Michael, because that's something they did a lot in the 2000s. So Tiger Mask beating Heat in the 2004 semis, losing his title match, but coming back on January 4th to finally beat Heat again. In 1999, 2001, and 2002, the winner of Best of Super Juniors beat the champion in the final. In 1999, it was Kendo Kashin beat Koji Kanemoto in the final.
He stunk. I hated him so much. Oh, he stunk. Okay, good.
2001, Liger beat Minoru Tanaka in the final, but didn't get a title shot. And in 2002, Kanemoto beat Tanaka in the final, then beat him for the title. In 2004, Tiger Mask 4 beat Heat in the semifinals, lost the title match, and then beat him at the time. 2012, Taguchi beat Loki in the semis, then lost the title shot. So it's not happened for a long time. But I wouldn't rule it out, the possibility of Despi winning and going through to the final and something happening there to, could set something up long term, or maybe just puts the title up as well as the tournament final. Robbie Eagles on 8 point. Again, it's just, why did they eliminate him this early? Why couldn't he not be in the mix coming into the final night? It was such a stupid thing to do, and he's got himself in great shape, and he's one of the best wrestlers in the whole junior heavyweight division, and he's already eliminated. And I don't understand why. It would have been such an easy thing to do, even if he's not going through to the final, just to have him alive going into it so that there's some sort of drama. It's just having all these guys wrestling against people that are already eliminated is just weird, because I was so excited about Despi versus Eagles. That's something I'd circled right from the jump as a really cool winner-take-all thing. Yeah. No, it's not. It's just taken the wind out of the sails in what should have been, I think, a really tremendous match.
All right, so then so again, just so I'm clear, Despi wins, he's in, right?
No, he wins if he's in, if he wins, and Yo loses or draws.
Okay.
So Yo has got his future in his own hands. He controls his destiny.
Gotcha. What's the possibility? Well, all right, let me ask you this then. Are we rooting for Despi, or are we rooting for Robbie Eagles?
I don't know.
Because at least the Robbie Eagles win will get us future matches, which I think will be great, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then Yo versus Ishimori. Yo could still win and go on. I'm looking at the lineup, and I just fucking see SHO, and I can't, and stylized in all capital letters, and it's just like, we're fucked. We are fucked.
The problem is there's not like a sexy option for the final.
Right.
There's not an option like this guy wins an A block, this guy wins a B block, and this is going to be our amazing final for Best of the Super Juniors. We don't have that on the table. The best I'm hoping for at this point is Fujita versus Despi, which would be great. I'm sure it would be really good, but it's not. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. I just don't think that's the most exciting use of the 20 wrestlers that they've got.
I mean, look, if you want my honest opinion, the easiest and most direct route here is Hiromu versus Despi. It just feels like the most direct route. What's that?
I said Christ.
Well, it will be good, right?
I'm just so bored of it, though.
I know, it's another filet mignon. I get it. But...
And it would just be very backwards, I think, where what they should be doing is showcasing the young, exciting talent who's going to be the future of this division. Because that's what they did last year. Last year was Despi versus Ishimori, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And Despi versus Hiromu. It's just a lateral move. I don't...
Now, this is their own doing. Right. This is their own doing, to be very clear. But are there two bigger guys than Despi and Hiromu in that division?
No, but it's not about just putting the two biggest guys in the final. because they've told their story, they've had their matches, and I don't see there's any long-term value in going back to it.
Ticket sales and interest, and
I just think that's doing a disservice to the future of your division. I think this
absolutely
should be a platform for elevating your younger guys and telling new stories rather than flogging the dead horse of old ones.
I listen, 1,000% agree. Maybe they don't feel the same way about the people that we get boners over.
Well, yeah, that was what I said earlier on. That's what the worry is here, that there is a disconnect between what I think is good and what they think is good.
Right. I mean, look, if this goes in the way that we think it can go, the option of, okay, we're doing it for a younger guy is SHO at this point. It's fucking SHO. I'd rather have tried and true, we've seen it a million times, let's see it one more time. I'll get down another fucking fillet. Fine. Over SHO?
Right.
Yeah.
Jay Michaels lays something out. He says that you convinced me. I'm changing my B block pick to SHO. They're getting involved in the B block main, and then the Best of Super Juniors final is going to be LIJ's Remnants versus House of Torture. Hiromu versus SHO final.
That's the future. We're building to the future, right? That's right. That's what we're doing here. Look, I don't know nothing, but it does feel like that is absolutely on the fucking table. I think the two likely endings here we're looking at is Hiromu Despy, and if it's not Hiromu Despy, SHO is in the fucking main event. SHO is in the finals.
Okay, well, the main event of this show is YOH versus Ishimori. So YOH's on 10, Ishimori's on 8. YOH controls his own destiny. He advances if he wins. This fucking Ziploc bag wearing Fujoshi bait motherfucker couldn't get a pop out of a box of Rice Krispies. He advances if he wins.
Yeah.
Just a deeply unserious wrestler.
Thank you.
Deeply unserious booking. And yeah, he's missed the boat. I think there was a world where they could have transitioned the dissolution of Roppongi 3K into something that would have benefited both wrestlers a lot more than what they've actually done, because it seems like they've just killed both of them. But for YOH, for SHO, I think it's the booking. Like, putting him in House of Torture is just absolutely done for him. He's nothing now. But YOH, I think he had a lot of the ingredients to be a top junior singles guy, but the extended feud with SHO and also him allowing his own weirdo personality to influence how he was presenting himself has prevented him from ever being taken seriously and for ever being anything valuable as a singles junior heavyweight wrestler, because he's just a clown.
He's worse than a clown. He's a guy that is actively, I just want to just turn off. Which, again, Taguchi's nonsense is much different than YOH's nonsense. YOH is completely and utterly annoying. Taguchi is silly and campy and, as you called it, a little physical comedy in a physical sport. YOH just enrages me in how much of a fucking just toolbox he is. Which stinks because, when we were looking at him taking his excursion and even as a young lion and even coming back, nobody expected we would get this. Nobody expected. Like, I remember seeing both of them hanging out at the when the New Japan did the Ring of Honor shows in Brooklyn at the outdoor baseball stadium. And they weren't even on the show. They were just fucking hanging out. And like, nobody, I don't think anybody, those two guys, I don't think anybody would have been like, yep, this is where they'll be in 5 years or 7 years or whatever, however fucking long ago that was. It's preposterous. If I think about it, like, and it borderlines on, it makes me a little angry. Like, what the fuck happened here? Like, what the fuck happened here with these two guys? Of all guys, these two guys? I don't know, man. Yeah. First of all, the fact that he alone controls his destiny. It does make for okay. So I talked about, guys looking like a fucking boob. Like, this would be a perfect yo spot for him to look like a boob and lose. It really would.
Again, I'm seeing a lot of House of Torture interference in this match.
Me too. Yeah.
And also, I think I don't see Ishimori ending up with a losing record. Whatever you think about him, that he has a lot of respect in the booking. He has been very strongly since the moment he set foot in the company.
Yep.
So I don't see Yo ending up in 12 and Ishimori ending up on 8.
I'd like to think that, man. I definitely would.
And also, Yo's a junior tag champion, so that should count against him as well.
There you go, too. Okay. All right. So look, and again, it just feels like, you have such a direct path to this, and it's that it just screams he's going to fuck it up. Something's going to go wrong. Whether it's interference, whether it's shenanigans that play a part, or whether it's a fucking clean win or clean loss, whatever. I don't see Yo in there. I see SHO in there. I see SHO.
All right, so can I have your official prediction, please, on the Best of Super Juniors final and who wins that final?
Despy Hiromu. And you want to go completely dull? Let's go completely dull. Hiromu wins, and there's your title defense with Despy. How about that for dull?
Pats down. Okay, my prediction: Kosei Fujita against SHO.
All right.
That's the Best of Super Juniors final, and Fujita wins. I want us to end this podcast with just a sliver of optimism, despite the fact that both main events on these two shows feature the least exciting option versus someone who's already eliminated.
Woo! Love it. I tell you what, it's fucking great doing a podcast, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
People, there are plenty of times when we're very, very happy to be doing this. There are other times where it's just like, how are we going to look? We're being honest. What can we say? I'm going dull. Joel's going. We need a hero, and we need to elevate stars. And I like the positive thinking. I just think we're going for dull. We're going for a dullard summer when it comes to for juniors and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
See you next week then.
That was the mousiest ending. All right. Enjoy. See ya.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, The Bad, and The Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.